here.
Okay.
For those who
what we do here is go back.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Child of Mecha live stream. I am your host, Tim, the one and only Child of Mecha, and I mean, come on, was it really that hard to guess? I mean, it just seemed fitting, right? It just seemed fitting. So, there we go. You guys, it's been a fun week so far. I don't know about you guys. Sorry I had to cancel on you on Monday, but let's put it this way. It was probably better off because I don't know if I would have gotten through the stream with my phone buzzing with notifications. Needless to say, and mind you, I say this with all humility, it seems like the jest is a hit with people. So I honestly didn't think that it was going to be as big a deal as it seems to be. You know, I thought it would do well. I thought people would like it. I thought people would be like, oh yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. Yeah. But man, it's gone over like really well. And I'm happy about that. I'm really happy about that. I'm really proud about that. And thank you to everybody. And it looks like there's a bunch of new people watching, so if you found your way to us, welcome to the family. Man, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy seeing the reaction that people have, right? Tons of comments, tons of likes, tons of shares. Hell, almost 1,000 shares alone on Facebook. And mind you, I'm not really one to get into numbers and stuff, but that just astounds me. So, yeah, man, thank you. I know a ton of you shared it on your social platform. So if you did, or even if you just liked it and commented, man, I can't thank you guys enough. Obviously, it's been a big part of the stream so far. And I think to see that kind of birthed, if you will, for lack of a better term, into kind of the public domain, it's kind of our little secret for a long, long time, right? Kind of what I was working on and stuff. But to see it go over like this, man, it just, it's crazy. And I know there's a bunch of people right now, some amazing folks in the chat, and I know, thank you for all the compliments and everything, you guys. I mean, it couldn't be more special for me, right? But I do want to acknowledge one person in particular, because what this gentleman did today with one of his stories, Mr. Terry T. He sometimes watches the show and stuff and interacts and everything, and he's a wonderful artist and musician and stuff like that. And he's over there on good old Instagram, and if you're not following him, please do so. Gundam Yantham is his handle, and he's an amazing artist. But what Terry did today, honestly, for me, probably was easily the finest compliment that I have ever received in this hobby. And it really kind of touched me emotionally when I saw it, right? Because it was a multi-slide story. And it was kind of, it had some build-up and then showed the Jesta, right? But, he basically, stated that, every, and I'm paraphrasing it, he put it so much more elegantly than I can paraphrase. But basically, that what he said was every great artist does so effortlessly. And then he showed, pictures of the Jesta, and he said, kind of the same things. And I'll be honest with you, I got kind of a little choked up, and I'm getting you know, a tad bit choked up right now just thinking about the sentiment, right? Because it means a lot. It means a lot. So for you guys, go follow Terry. Seriously, he's a good guy. Wonderful artist. Makes some just dope-ass line drawings, you guys. And he's just, man, salt of the earth, right? So, a big shout out to him. That, like I said, that's probably the finest compliment that I've received in this hobby for the very long time that I've been in it. So, it meant a lot. That meant a lot. So, Terry, if you're watching, thank you, man. Thank you. So, oh yeah, Kurt, Gundam Yantham. I want to make sure that I spell it right. Bear with me, folks. Oh my God, come on, Instagram. Yeah, Gundam Yatham. The word Gundam, Y-A-T-H-A-M. Yatham. Yatham. Gundam Yatham. Yeah. So that's Terry's Instagram. Go follow him, please. Please, please, please go follow him. Okay? It's the least I could do. It's the least I can do for the sentiment that he gave. So, man, I was like still getting choked up about it. It really touched me. Really touched me. So, all right. So you guys, with the sentimental stuff out of the way, what we're going to be doing tonight, and again, if this is your first time watching, welcome. We're going to be talking a little bit tonight. I got some cool stuff to show you real quick, just to get some things out of the way. And then we're going to move back on to the Zaku 2. I've got a brand new idea for the head design. The bicycle helmet, no more. I took the Dremel to the epoxy putty today. Took it all off. Took it all off. So we've got basically a smooth dome. I've framed it up a bit, and we'll get into that here in a little bit, but we're going to be making, starting with that first. We're going to be working with epoxy putty. And then we're going to jump back onto the backpack because we've made some decent progress over the weekend with that. So, yeah, so we'll be working on that, but before we do that, let's get, obviously business out of the way first. If you want one of these kick-ass 67th Tactical Mobile Suit Squad shirts with just a designation on the sleeve, come on now. You can do so on childofmecha.com. Hit up the store button at the top. You'll be transported to the store where you'll find shirts, hats, bags, other things. Prints as well. Prints, man. I'm super happy with how the photography came out. I was just like, when I saw the pictures, when I was editing them and seeing how they were coming out, I was very, very happy with them. So prints are available as well. Several people messaged me and requested prints, and I'm just like, it's already done. They're up there. Go get them. So prints for your viewing pleasure as well. So that's all on childofmecha.com. And if you are interested in any of the tools or things that we work with tonight, hit the Amazon link up just below here in the description on YouTube or Twitter. That side if you're watching on Facebook. It's got a bunch of the tools and materials that we use. I found the Chopper 2 again on Amazon. Thank you for Bill, who messaged me earlier today about that. That's on Prime too, guys. It's a little expensive though, but Prime kind of does balance it out. Yeah. So that's back on the list as well, along with the Wave T-Square. Yes, you can now buy the big one on Amazon. It's not Prime, unfortunately, but still, just the fact that you can buy it on there is a good thing. Yeah, it's a good thing. So, also, too, if you need kits or paints or decals or accessories or anything like that, hit up these guys right here in the corner, my good friends at USA Gundam Store, who we are partnering with for this GBWC right there 2019 build. All those guys down there at USA Gundam Store and Adam, great bunch of people. Definitely go and hit them up if you have kit needs. Please do that. And also, I think they're running a 15% off Kodabo Kia thing. That ties in real well with Zaku Aurelius, my good friend Zach's contest right now. I think tonight's the last night, so go get on it. So, all right. What else? Let's talk about what some things that I received over the weekend, you guys, because you guys know. For those of you that have watched before, you guys know that I love getting spare parts, right? If you want to send me spare parts, there's the address. Send me spare parts. I will take them off your hands. Anything. I don't care if they're painted. I don't care if they're wrecked. Send me spare parts. I love spare parts. Or if you want to send me something else, whatever. Or if you want to trade stickers, let's do it. I trade stickers with people, man. I trade stickers with everybody. Everybody. I got like, my whole workbench here is getting crowded with stickers. Right? It's crazy. Stupid crazy. So, if you want to trade stickers, that's the address. Okay? So, but anyway, my good friend, Mr. Wynn, you guys know him as Paint Pusher. I'm sure you are familiar with some of his work. He's a minorly talented fellow. Now, I kid you, Wynn is amazing. He's the only gentleman in the world who has a first, second, and third place World Final GBWC trophy. So that says a lot, right? But anyway, Wynn messaged me a couple weeks ago, and he said that he's got some spare parts left over from his GBWC build last year, Sazabi and things like that. And he asked me, he's just like, hey, do you want them? I'm like, yeah. Of course I want them. So, over the weekend, I get this big ass box of parts, right? So, like, you want to talk about salt of the earth, right? I don't know if there's a more generous human being on this planet than Wim. So, he's been trying his damnedest. In addition to my boy Justin, he's been trying to get me into like miniatures, you know, like wargaming miniatures and stuff, right? So the dude sent me this, right? Full kit, and I don't know if you can I don't know if you can make that out, but it says one of us, one of us, one of us. You know, like the line from Wolf of Wall Street, one of us, one of us. Yeah, that. So he wants me to do this. It's a Riptide battle suit. I don't know anything about minis and stuff like that. I have no clue about this stuff, you guys. But what I will say is there's some pretty cool parts in this kit. Does that make me a bad person that I actually want to like use this kit for parts? Like, I don't know. It might. I might be an absolute terrible person for thinking that, but that was the first thing that popped into my head, right? I mean, just super cool little greeblies and stuff. And you guys have heard me talk about greeblies and stuff and how important they are. And I'm gonna tell you what, man. Like there are some parts on here that I could cast for days and utilize, and man, they would just be amazing on models and stuff, right? Andrew says, do it. Use them for parts. Like, okay, so just this little, I don't even know if the camera's going to get that. Just that little focus camera. Just that. Oh, of course. But anyway, that one little round piece was awesome, right? And here it is. Hang on. I'm back. All right, so just this little piece here is so cool because it's got great detail on it, right? So I don't know. I might be a terrible person and I might just use it for parts. Sue me. But man, in addition to all that, in addition to that kit, right, he sent me like full runners. Like full runners from the Suzabi. Like, like come on, man. Like the entire shield is in here. That, get it in camera there. That gun is, the whole runner, you guys, is in here. Yeah, it's like the backpack is in here as well, the fuel tanks, all those cool parts are in here. I'm gonna wreck this box when it comes to doing the second Mecha this build, man. So, Win, thank you, brother. Appreciate that. And I hope you don't hate me if I use that little miniature for parts. So, what are you gonna do, right? I just think it's cool. There are cool parts in there. They really are. There's some really, really cool parts. So, all right. So, two other things I want to show you this real quick, and then we'll get to work. Okay. But to do that, let's go camera 2 real quick, and boom. There we go. All right. Let's clear off some things here. So, for those of you new, I just had a birthday on the 25th. So I had some Amazon gift certificates or gift cards. Who says gift certificates anymore? But gift cards. And so I bought a couple tools that looked pretty cool to me. And the first one is this guy right here. This is by a company called High Spec. And basically what this is, it's a case with a ton of different files, right? These are some big mamma jammas, and then these are more traditional kind of your quote-unquote needle files, but man, these things are aggressively toothed. So in comparison, this is the normal sized needle file that I use. This is not a diamond file. This is a needle file, so it does have teeth on it, right? So you can see kind of the size difference. These are a bit beefier, right? A little wider in comparison, and the teeth on this thing are much more aggressive. So if these will be great for me needing to hog off a ton of material, right? So you guys know I love this big old bastard file, right? This is, you know, a standard 6-inch bastard file. I got the little Nicholson adjustable handle to go with it. Super solid, moves a shit ton of material, and it's just overall awesome. Again, this is more kind of like a medium tooth. For this, it's not super aggressive, but man, it's really, really good. So you can see that these are 8-inch files here, and you've got different profiles. Obviously, you've got your triangular, circle, you've got your half round, and then obviously you've got your flat bastard file, as the name is, right? And then just a cavalcade of smaller files here. I mean, you've got a couple flat, you know, rectangular ones. You've got some triangular ones. You've got this a square one here, 2 rounds. You've got this kind of diamond-shaped flat Same thing with this one. It's a little bit thinner, sort of on zero. Yes, I do have a wire brush. It's around here somewhere. But honestly, I just use that. It works, right? Kind of got this cool kind of oval shaped profile one. You got this weird one here that I've never kind of run into. It's completely flat on the broad side, but it's filed here. It's toothed on the edge, which I think is weird. Honestly, I've never seen it before, but hey, whatever. It was free. I don't care. So, and then you've got some other ones here, some wide, flat ones, and you've got another kind of half round here. So, yeah, cool. It was like 24 bucks, I think, on Amazon. And so, yeah, I've put this to use, some of these to use already, and they've come in really handy. Really, really handy, especially the smaller ones with how aggressive they are. Yeah, good stuff. So it's on the Amazon link if you're interested. The other thing that I got here for with my birthday money is that right there. These are the legendary Tamiya 123s. Now, for those of you that know Tamiya, right? There are actually three. They have three nippers. They have the 123s, I think it's the 740 and some other number. I don't know. These are the original ones that I have. These I think are the 740s. I could be wrong with the number, so don't hold that against me. But I know that these are the 123s because these are the best top of the line, and the other reason why I know it is because I have the packaging right here and it says 123. So there you go. But the cool thing about these, and let's get zoomed in so you guys can see the ultimate difference between these and the other ones that I have, right? So you can kind of see these are actually a bit beefier in the handles than these here. And if we look at the jaws, the 123s are a tad bit longer. But if you turn them to the side, that's where you're going to get the most contrast, right? The 123s, these over here, much thinner, pointier, sharper jaws than the older ones, right? And these are thicker material, so they're a little bit more sturdy in your hand. Now, it doesn't mean they're more sturdy in the jaws. You know, you don't want to go and cut. You don't want to cut wire with these, or metal, or thick sprue or plastic, right? These are detail nippers, you guys. These things are actually really quite nice. If you guys have watched my streams, you've heard me talk about Mr. Paul Budzik. Wonderful gentleman, extremely knowledgeable modeler. Has been in scale modeling for, many decades, and knows his shit. I have referenced his nipper comparison video several times, and in that video, he's compared a ton of different nippers. He compared the three styles of Tamiya, the God Hands, Gundam Planet nippers, and a few others. But he picked the 123s even over God Hands. That says something, right? That says something. Now, mind you, I've always had my eye on the 123s anyways, so that just kind of reinforced that decision, right? So there you go. But very good set of nippers, inexpensive too, like 25 bucks on Amazon as well. So yeah, just super good buy. All right, with that out of the way, let's move in. Let's get some work done, shall we? We're gonna need some water. We're gonna need to zoom out a little bit, like that. And let me show you what we're working with here. The head, yeah. So we had the dreaded bicycle helmet, yeah. And man, you know, after reading the comment and then looking at it, it just like was like, man, it does look like a bicycle helmet. It looks like, you know, super bad. So scrapped it. Like I said, just basically took the Dremel to this, ground a bunch of that off today, sanded it nice and smooth again, and here we go. You know, I've got obviously some strip styrene in here, and actually, let's zoom back in so you guys can see a little bit better detail what we're going to be doing here. So let's see what we've got. We've got some 1mm by 1mm strips, kind of in a triangular pattern here, right? And that's going to be the basis of what we're going to be doing. So essentially what we've got and what we're going to try to achieve is that profile right there. So basically we're going to add almost like an additional kind of visor, you know, cover to the front of the Zaku's head. And we're going to build up this interior area here with epoxy putty. Now, obviously, we're not going to be able to work with that tonight, but Friday, you know, we should be able to, you know, work with this if I haven't already shaped it by then anyway. But what I did was I went ahead, scribed a 0.3mm line straight down the middle of the head. This is 0.3mm styrene plate. So I just popped that in there, glued it in with some good old plastic magic, right? And then took 1mm by 1mm beams and just super glued that down so they fit nice from that single point all the way down to the front here of this kind of thing. I don't know. Anyway, so we're going to fill the rest in with epoxy putty, and we're going to show you how to do that here, okay? So water. We zoom out a little bit. There you go, so you can see the action as it happens. Now we need a scrap piece of plastic. This will act as a pallet, right? And then obviously we're going to need epoxy putty. Now, when it comes to epoxy putty, there's really only one that I recommend, and that's this stuff right here, the Tamiya Quick Type. It's in the green. This is good shit, right? Chart Wins over there on YouTube, he says, where do you get your evergreen plastic from? That's a great question. Easy answer, evergreenplastics.com. Just get it right from their website. You can buy it directly from their website, right? So yeah, hit up Evergreen Scale Models. Their website's not on this one. So yeah, just look up Evergreen Plastics. You'll find their website, and you can order directly off them. That's where I get pretty much all of my plastic from. So the in terms of actual plates, like big sheets, I'd probably not buy their sheets because it's a little overpriced for what it is, right? Now, you can buy the Tamiya plow plate, their brand, pretty inexpensively off of Hobby Search. Shipping might, you know, outweigh things, but if you buy more than just that, that starts to work out in your favor. You can also buy plastic sheet on places like Amazon. You can also buy it from, I believe Adam and the guys down at Gundam, USA Gundam Store has it. You can buy it off of hardware supply websites like McMaster Car. Those are some great places to pick it up. McMaster Car doesn't have very, very thin pieces. I think the thinnest they have is about a 0.75 equivalent. It is, you know, imperial, you know, measurements. It's not millimeter, but it's good stuff. I've got sheets of it under there. I'm not going to show you because it's buried under stuff right now. I've got to clean this room. Yeah, if you need like thicker pieces, like up to a quarter inch thick plastic sheet, they'll hook you up. Yeah, and it's cheap too. You can get a 12 by 24, like 1.5 mm sheet for, I think it was like 12, 15 bucks, something like that. And that's much bigger than what you would get from, say, Evergreen or Tamiya, something like that. And it's going to be a lot thicker too. The thinner stuff obviously is going to be cheaper, but just to give you a comparative. So, great question though. So anyhow, we've got our epoxy putty, we've got our palette, we've got our water, we've got our part, and then also we've got our little kind of spatula tool here with the little golfing and the putter end or whatever it is. Anyway, so first things first, we need to get the right amounts of epoxy putty out here, right? Now, this is just kind of an eyeball thing. It does not have to be exact because Tamiya QuickType is very, very forgiving if you don't get the ratios exactly, right? It's not like resin. Resin will punish you if you don't get exact amounts, but Tamiya is extremely, extremely forgiving, so keep that in mind. All right. So what we're going to do is, it seemed to be about enough. You probably want to get a little bit more than what you think you're going to need, and I'll show you why. And I'm just using kind of a razor blade, you know, old, dirty, nasty razor blade here to carve off some pieces here, right? So we've got these pieces. We need to peel the plastic backing off the front and back of these chunks of epoxy putty here. So let's get that done. We're going to stick that piece right there. Let's get the yellow part over here. Now it's going to be a little bit trickier because it doesn't have a lot of area for me to get a hold of it here. There we go. Cool. And let's get the other side here. Now I'll show you why we have the water here in just a second, because that's going to be crucial for this particular process, right? Julie Stemsky says, Tim, I ordered some of those shovel feet from Evolution Studio and Taobao. Oh, I'm so jealous of you right now, Julius. Damn it. I need to order some of those because they look awesome. So jealous right now. Damn it. Well, you'll probably get them before I do. So if you get them, let me know how they are, because I am super interested in those things. Super interested. Okay. So, all right. So if you guys have never seen me work with epoxy putty before, this stuff is amazingly sticky. Like, it will stick to pretty much everything, right? So to avoid making a mess, we use the water, and we just kind of get our fingertips in the water, get them wet, and that will help keep the two-part epoxy putty here from sticking to our digits. Now, yes, it will get wet. It will, you know, drip and be messy and everything like that. It's not a big deal because this, the water will evaporate out of this and it will be perfectly fine. I've done this particular process many times over and never had an issue. This stuff is just amazing stuff. If you guys have seen pictures of the Ozymandias, especially on the head, how the head is reshaped, that's how, that's the process. This is the stuff that I've used. So let's get our Getting a little dry here. It's starting to evaporate again. And we just need this stuff until it's one singular color. We don't want any streaks or anything like that in there, because streaks will mean differences in density of this stuff. And that ultimately is not a good thing. You do not in any way want differences in density in this thing. Shiki says over there on Twitch, he says, let's see, how much putty do you usually use? Wondering because I feel like when I'm making like front skirts, I feel I'm using too much. It really depends on the task, really, because so like we're filling in these two parts here, and this amount, I don't know, it might be enough. We'll see here in a second, right? So, all right. So this stuff right now is already very, very sticky. The water has pretty much evaporated from it, and it's ready to go. So with that being said, we take our little spatula tool here. This is just kind of a putty tool that is specific for using with epoxy putty or filler putty and stuff like that. And for those of you folks that are new to the stream, please, please, please stop using filler putty like the Tamiya white and all that crap. You don't need it. I'm going to tell you why. Because this shit right here is super amazing at filling gaps. Yes, you heard me right. Super glue. Get on it. Sorry, especially to the folks that have watched for a while. We need to reiterate these things for the new folks. So it's one of those things that is just kind of like a hidden gem that not many people use. So, all right. So we just ripped off a hunk of this epoxy putty right here, and we're just going to smash it in this area here, right? And what I did, it's sticking to the spatula. It's so sticky. What I did here was I scored with an old hobby knife. I scored a bunch of lines in here to give the plastic a little bit more tooth, so the epoxy putty had something to grab onto, right? Shiki says, what about Tamiya thin cement? Oh, yeah, keep using that. Keep using that. But personally, I prefer Plastic Magic over Tamiya Extra Thin. If you guys don't know about Plastic Magic, it's awesome sauce. This is one of the very, very few modeling glues that will glue ABS to styrene and vice versa, and ABS to ABS. It also glues acrylic. Yeah, acrylic, you guys. This is the shit. So, it's about, I think it's like $8 a bottle. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Hey, Shiki, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Welcome to the family officially. Yeah, this is the stuff right here, you guys. You can get it on Amazon. It's about, like I said, it's about $8 a bottle. I insanely recommend it. So, since this stuff is getting sticky, you just dip your spatula in here, get that wet, and then it won't stick to the spatula. So we're just going to kind of work this in here into this shape, right? Now, just by the looks of that, I'm not sure if we're going to have enough here. We might need to mix up some more. I think I very greatly underestimated what we needed here. But that's okay, because this stuff takes a little while to cure, so it's not gonna set up right away, right? Man, Kurt Hill, I am sorry about that, dude. He says nobody stocks Plastic Magic in Australia. Dude, Kurt, seriously, get on Ryan about that, because it's by Deluxe Materials, right? English company, and very, very common products in the modeling world. If Ryan at Hobbyco can get Deluxe Materials, which I'm pretty sure that he probably can, he can get this stuff easy. Have him order it. Trust me, dude. You guys are missing out down there if you can't get Plastic Magic. I'm telling you, it's good stuff. Good stuff. Yes. And if you do, Kurt, and if you do ask Ryan about it, tell him I told you to tell him. sure he'd love that. Ryan's a good dude. We're friends. All right, so we're just kind of getting this slathered on here, and you know, we're not being super careful with this because what we're going to do is we're going to come back once this is fully cured with the files and the Dremel, sandpaper, all that good stuff, and then really work it into a final shape, right? Kurt says, I'll hit him up next time I see him. There you go. There you go. You tell him I told you. You tell him I told you. I love Ryan. He's such a good dude, man. Oh, you guys. Okay, so I completely forgot to say something when I was talking about what Win had sent me earlier, right? So Win, obviously you guys know Win is an amazing individual. Goes to say without words, right? But Win and I are going to be doing a little bit of collaboration. Ooh, what is this? Bizarro Pandemonium. Ooh, good name. That's a good name. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Welcome to the family. That is a good name. I like that name. Congratulations on that name. But anyway, so Win and I, we're going to be doing a little collaboration. Not necessarily in the modeling side of things, but something else. We're going to be doing some cool stuff. So expect to hear more about that, you know, in the very near future. But it'll be cool. I'm sure you guys will like that. All right, so we're getting there. I think we might have enough. I think we might. It's going to be close. It's going to be super close. But we just kind of want to get a rough shape here. And we want to make sure that the putty is over this plastic rod here that I put down, because that's going to be the height that I want this thing to be. So that's why we used that first. That gives us a nice clean edge to work with. So this will be, you know, a hard stopped edge right there. And there we go. So if you have the putty come over top of this, then you'll be perfectly fine when you go to shape it. You're not going to have any dips or divots or anything like that when it comes to shaping when we go to do that at a later time after this stuff sets up, right? So all right, so what I'm doing right now is just kind of pressing this down and getting this into a very kind of rough, like a rough shape of what I want it to be, right? And again, you want to get it overlapped, especially down here at the bottom, because this can be somewhat problematic. Okay, looking good, looking good. Okay. So that's looking pretty cool so far. Obviously, this is not going to be anywhere near the final shape that we want. We're going to be getting it a little bit more aggressive than this. So that's why we have this middle kind of spline in here, right? That's going to determine the final shape of this particular kind of visor enhancement, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Very common technique, especially like in like the Japanese hobby mags and stuff like that, scratch build manuals, all that. This is very common, and I've done this several times before, and it just works. It's one of those techniques that just works, right? So that's why we put that on here. That's why I put these two 1mm by 1mm bars on there as well. So okay, we just kind of press that as flat as possible. We're going to come back and kind of shave this off and get it to more of a flat once we get this once this cures up. And that'll be tomorrow sometime. This stuff, even though it's marketed as quick type, it still takes some time to cure. This will take probably about 8 hours to cure fully. Now, the reason why it's called quick type is because the normal type takes probably about 24 hours to cure properly. And I honestly, I do not like the normal type of Tamiya epoxy putty because it's rubbery when it cures fully, and it doesn't sand very well. It doesn't, finish as nicely as this. It's just it was a big disappointment when I first worked with it, and I was like, man, I don't want to. I had a project and I didn't want to use quick type because it was just basically filling voids in an SD, and I used it, and that was the last I ever used it, first and last, right? So, all right, so there. Let's see, put this down. Right, there's our rough shape, you guys. Yeah, let's get zoomed in a little bit so you guys can see what we're working with here. So that's our rough shape. It's kind of like basically a bit of an arrowhead on this guy. And there's your profile, right? And let's pop this on one of the donor kits that our good friend Spider2K2 James 2.0 sent. And here you can kind of get an idea of what that will look like, and hopefully it will focus. Maybe not. There we go. So you can kind of get an idea of what that's going to look like, right? Obviously, we need to sharpen that up. We need to file that down and get it much, much more pointy and aggressive looking. But, man, I like that so much more than the bicycle helmet, you guys. I am very, very much digging that shape, right? So what we'll do is we'll grab one of our little binder clips here and we'll kind of bind that up, yeah? And that's okay, cool. We just don't want the epoxy putty resting on the table or anything like that. So resting like that, perfect, right? So there we go. All right, so now we got to put this in a safe place. We're going to put this up here next to the lighted sign, just out of the way. I don't want to touch that. I don't want to look at it for at least 8 hours until at least tomorrow morning, because if you go and try to mess with that at like 6, 7 hours, you're gonna fuck it up. Don't fuck it up. Just let it sit. Let it marinate. Let it do its thing, right? Let it be happy for a little bit of time. Give it its space, okay? That's what I'm telling you. Give it space. Like in any good relationship, a little space is a positive, okay? So, all right, so with that said, let's zoom out just a wee bit. There we go. Old School Gumps is over there on YouTube. What's going on, George? Just looked up Tamiya epoxy putty quick type discontinued per Tamiya website. Which Tamiya website did you look on? Did you look on the US website? Because the US website has said that for several years. It's sold in Amazon. Yeah. It's shipped from Japan, but yeah, USA. Yeah, okay, so there we go. So George, that's why. Tamiya US, poo-poo, straight poo-poo, and I'll tell you why. And let's go back to one camera so I can explain why the US division of Tamiya is straight poo-poo. Frank the Tank. Frank the Tank. Does Tim own a hobby shop? What's your day? Oh, no, I don't own a hobby shop. I'm actually a brand manager for a small automotive consulting firm. It's a stretch, right? Basically, think graphic designer and other stuff. But anyway, but George, so Tamiya US, the reason why they're so poo-poo. Number one, you can't get the Tamiya epoxy putties. You can only get them from Japan. That's shitty because it's such good stuff, right? Also, you can't get the where is it? The panel lining fluid either. Here it is. Yeah, you can't get this. You can't get this anymore from Tamiya, or at least last time I checked, you couldn't get this. Which was shitty. Like, why? It's such a great product, right? You can't get their enamel paints. You can't get their lacquer paints, which are newer. It boggles my mind because these are the products that, you know, Gunpla builders use, right? And it's not the fact that they can't get them, it's the fact that they don't. Right? So the reason why that blows my mind is because, according to numbers last year, Gunpla outsold all other types of scale modeling market segments combined. Yeah, that's hard data, you guys. It is obviously the easiest and most prolific growing scale modeling segment right now. That's just facts, right? So, and you know, you see a lot of hobby shops starting to come around, starting to stock, you know, Gunpla. You start to see IPMS shows and stuff like that starting to welcome us in with open arms, like, you know, our good friends True and Bailey and Donnie Baxter and Macho Models and those guys. They all went to the Richmond IPMS show here recently, and man, they basically took the place over and got the what is it? I guess it was the chapter president to. They acknowledged them and their contributions, because I think the year before, I think they had like 24, and Bailey, help me out with the numbers if I'm wrong here, buddy, like 24 Gundam models. This year I think they had like 96, so almost 4 times, no, actually 4 times more. Like, come on, man. How is that not proof of there being a market? Come on, Tamiya. You're killing me. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. So, yeah. It's frustrating. And then, you know, you look at the Tamiya website and it says it's been discontinued, but it said that for years. So, but no, it's not get discontinued. It's only discontinued by Tamiya US. You can get it. They still make it in racks and racks and racks of batches. So, yeah, go get it. Go get it on Amazon or at places like USA Gundam Store. I think Adam has it, or Hobby Search. You can get it on there. Yeah, all those guys. All those guys. Chris R. Squee, he said 25 last year, 96 this year. So, yeah, roughly 4 times. Racks on racks on racks. Frank the Tank. Yes, sir. Cheers to Frank. Old School Gunpla says, thanks for the info, Tim. Good to know. Yeah. Tamiya's missing out, you guys. Tamiya US. If hobby companies were like people, Tamiya would be the type of person that you want to just take by the shoulders and just shake the shit out of them and just say, hey, get your shit together, man. It's easy advice. Anyway, rant over, you guys. All right, so with that being said, let's get back into the backpack, the new backpack for this thing, right? Now, for those of you guys new, again, welcome. We're working on a Johnny Rit. Whoa, that's a little zoomed in too much to show you the full model, isn't it? All right, so where we go. So that's the base model that we're working with here. This will be the losing mobile suit in the presentation. I don't want to say diorama because it's not really a diorama. At least I don't see it in a traditional diorama sense of what I'm going to be making. But this will basically be the losing mech. This will unfortunately get a rather large cutting implement right in there, right? Just right into the side and just that hurts, right? So, but we still want to make him cool. We still want to make him cool because if he's not cool, it's not a cool presentation, right? So, what we did already, we've transplanted the Goof Custom top, I don't even know what you want to call these, the sides of the chest. We've transplanted them here onto the Zaku 2. Over the weekend, I gave him a new back skirt. I hope you guys will like this. This is the first time I'm showing anybody here. Oh, that's sexy right there. That's sexy. And let's get you zoomed in for a little added detail on that back skirt, shall we? Oh yes. Now, if you guys can't recognize that, which you probably should, these are the Sinanju Stein leftover back skirts that I had from the Ozymandias. So I just kind of recycled those. So I already had them in the one of my parts bins, right? Now, Freddie Torres, that ass too flat. No, man, that ass is right. That ass is right. Anyway, but you know, I figured it would tie in with the angles that we've got here on the lower legs and stuff like that, and then the side skirts and stuff like that we're going to do. So we're going to, it's going to be basically new skirts all the way around. This is basically the template, if you will, for the skirts. But so I've connected these into one solid piece, and I've connected them to the pivot rod that is already there, and I'm not going to pull it out because there we go. So the pivot rod that is located on the back here, perfectly spaced that for the two poly caps that I inserted into this thing. And yeah, it just works nicely, and I think it looks really good. Obviously, this is the beginning look for this whole thing, and yeah, it looks really good. So we're going to continue on with that. But so that's the basis of what we're doing now. The normal high-mo backpack is this guy right here. I like it. Don't get me wrong. It's just not special, right? It's just not special. Fudabeoi, that needs to open and close. It pivots. That's good enough. And the fact that this thing is going to get sliced in half doesn't matter at that point. This particular model is not going to be the main component. Let's put it that way. This is going to be a secondary component for this piece. So, yes, I put some love and attention in this thing, but not as much as I'm going to put into the main one. Yeah, not as much as I'm going to put into the main one. When is the GBWC? Julius asks, when does the entry for GBWC have to be completed? It's a good question. There hasn't been any announcements as far as GBWC. The only announcement that I've seen is that they have that Bluefin or Bandai or however they want to call themselves now at this point, will not be at A-Kon in Texas. It's kind of shitty for you guys in Texas, but from what Xavier had posted in the Texas Facebook group, they are planning other ways for Texas to enter into the competition. Not sure exactly what that means at this point, but I mean, take it for what it's worth, right? So, if anybody knows, it's going to be Xavier, but the downside of the merger is that we don't get nearly as much info from Bluefin, since they have, since obviously Bandai has much tighter rules, they have non-disclosures, things of that nature. So, what are you going to do? It's tough. So we're going to have to wait and see, right? Frank Tang wants to know, how do you get into GBWC? It's actually pretty easy, man. It's actually pretty easy. So there's a bunch of competitions around the U.S., if you're in the U.S. If you're in another country, they usually have them in other countries. If they don't have them in your particular country, then sorry, you're excluded. But if you're in the U.S., I'm just speaking from a U.S. standpoint, there's two ways of entering. There, you can go to a live event, which they should be announced hopefully within the next month or two. And those are all over the U.S. Not at A-Kon this year, though. Or you can enter online. The online, the deadline for online entries is usually somewhere at the end of October, beginning of November. So we'll see. So that's how you enter. If you've not entered before, man, I hope that you do, because entering itself is a shit ton of fun. I'm gonna tell you what, guys, it's stupid amount of fun. Stupid amount of fun. Alex Dedoof says he's off work. Catch y'all. Oh, off to work. Catch y'all later. Alex, thank you for stopping by, brother. Be careful in that nasty Korean air. I don't know if you guys watch out or watch Alex's stuff and all that, but he's had to wear his painting mask because the air is so nasty in Korea right now. Who knows why? But cheers to Alex. He says it's bad. Yeah, it looked bad, dude. It looked bad. So, but yeah, Frank, if you can enter, man, enter. Even if it's just even if you have zero expectations, even if you think you have zero chance of winning anything, even if you think that your entry is so bad that it's an embarrassment, still enter. Still enter, because number one, if you can get to a live portion of GBWC, man, you meet so many cool people, right? But then if you can only enter online, then you still get the experience of kind of entering and competing and stuff like that, and you kind of get to see what others are doing, right? So it's a good thing all the way around. So I highly, highly, highly recommend it. I would recommend that to anybody. So there you go. But anyway, the backpack. So we've replaced the normal Himob backpack with this right here. Now, for those of you guys that don't know or don't recognize this particular backpack, this is from the Gelgoog 1.0. I had this sitting in my parts box again, and pulled it out, and I thought, man, this has a cool shape to it. I think this will work. And I think that it does, right? And then what we've done here is we've also taken these cool kind of mounting parts here from what's that called? The plant. And we've kind of tacked these onto the side here, and I've installed rods and drilled holes in there so these are properly aligned on both sides, and they just fit perfectly, right? They fit just stupidly well. So these are good mounting points right here. These are good coupler pieces, transitional pieces from the main body to whatever's connected to it. Now, if you guys are watching for the first time, and it does look like there's a bunch of you, what we're going to be doing, what we're going to be attaching here are these guys. These are Kotobukiya. These are from their ammo. These are ammo drums, essentially, and these are parts that you can buy, accessory parts that you can buy online. You can get these at like USA Gundam Store. You can get these on Hobby Search and other places like that. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be kind of putting these on here kind of like at an angle, kind of like this, right? And basically, if you guys have seen kind of the souped up custom Gyaradogo with that same kind of look on its backpack, has that kind of long, kind of weird gun. So that's basically the look that we're going with, right? And right here, you've got these kind of insert pieces that have little thruster bells in there. We're gonna customize those because those don't look really good. And to put these on here, you've basically got to have the thing completely disassembled. Put these on here and then put these two halves on. I don't really care for that assembly, so we're going to work with that, and we're not going to keep that. There's a ton of space in this thing because this is a 1.0, right? This is a very old model. This is 2003, 2-ish. Somebody correct me if they know any better. But early 2000s, let's put it that way. So it's got some age to it. It's, you know, at least a decade at this point, right? So there's no inner detail to this backpack like there is with this, you know, current day, you know, high mode backpack. This is the inner detail here, and then you put the armor pieces on top of it, and you've got all sorts of other accoutrements to go onto this. This one, it's an empty shell, right? Like you can see, it's just cavernous in with the amount of space that you have in here to work with, which is a good thing. Which is actually a really good thing, because what we can do is fill that kind of fill that void with stuff and make our own kind of mounting points for these you know, thruster boxes and stuff like that, or, you know, come up with some other kind of idea to put down here. Maybe I don't know, maybe like the stabilizer kind of things that are on like the Stormbringer or something like that, right? Or like the GPO4, right? Maybe something like that. I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas out. But that's the cool thing about working with kind of this 1.0 very early master grade shell. You could do so much with it, right? Oh my God, are you kidding me, Bailey? Okay, so Bailey says over here on YouTube, Shin Matsunaga Custom Zaku 2 High Mob 1.0 came out in 1995, according to Dalong. Shit, I didn't think it was that long ago. Damn. So 1995. So then, by that estimate, then the Zaku probably came out 96, 97. It's probably what I'm guessing. Wow. Okay, so you're looking probably at a 20-plus-year-old model, you guys. Frank's Tag. That's when you start. Yeah, pretty much. Actually, I started in like what, 2001ish. So yeah, about 2001. Yeah, so you can see in great comparison how 20 years of engineering has developed at Bandai. Yeah. So that's good stuff, right? It's good stuff. All right. So with our walk down history lane completed, let's let's see what we can do with this thing. Now, to bring you guys up to speed, what I've done so far, and let's see if we've got a little bit more zoom here. This is zoomed all the way in. So I've outline scribed these two kind of box details here. I've just basically scribed all the way around that to simulate a separation. You'll see that more apparently when it comes time to paint, right? So we've done that. Sorry, lost my train of thought. We did that, and right up here, there was a nasty seam because how this thing's sandwiched together, it was seamed right across here, and then this inner part was like 2 parts, so it was super disgusting. And I had to file that and sand it down a lot, so I needed to give it a little bit more bulk, so I padded that with a 0.5 millimeter sheet of styrene there and just kind of blended that in real nice, and it looks really quite seamless now. And then once we go to primer and paint, you'll be able to see that. And then I just added this here earlier this morning. Just added, just this little Kotobukiya cross plate onto this middle box here because it was just flat and bare and ugly. Let's just say it. It was ugly. So it just, kind of gives it a little character, shall we say, right? Man, everybody's giving their age back in 1995 or whatever. Yeah, Jor, making us feel young. Thanks. I'm an old head. Bailey has dubbed me the old head. Hey, and by the Bailey with the emoji on the old head emoji on YouTube. Thanks, B. Appreciate that, brother. Speaking of Bailey and mentioning that I'm an old head, go check out the Cutting Mat, Bailey's podcast with our good friends Joel True Gumpla and Mecha Genre. Brandon, I think, is his name, if I'm not mistaken. And then another gentleman that I'm just not familiar with, unfortunately. So sorry, other guy. But yeah, it's a cool time. I haven't listened to episode, I guess technically episode 1 as of yet. But I listened to the intro episode, which, yes, Bailey dubbed me an old head. Yeah, Brandon. I thought that was his name. I thought Mecha Genre was named Brandon. Yeah. Donnie Baxter over there. He says I was 15 in '95. Great times, great music. Started dating my wife. Nice. Yeah, 95, I was a junior in high school, so there you go. Graduated in 1996. Woo! MechaGenre.com. Yeah, there you go. Very good. Okay. So we need to figure out what else we can do with this. Now, this right here, this big, nasty, ugly looking, just rectangular plate. I added that a little while ago, kind of before the show. And that's basically to plug this hole here that formed when we kind of ground. There was a kind of a box protrusion that was here, and we ground that down in an earlier episode of the live stream. So that obviously opened up a hole here that we needed to patch and fill, right? So we need to, obviously, this is not the final look of it. That's horrid looking. I mean, the shapes don't even match perfectly, so we're not leaving it like that. We need to trim that down. So let's do that here just real quick. So now I'm going to grab the NT cutter here, this little teeny tiny little hobby knife. And I just absolutely love this thing for detail work like this, right? I will always say that the Olfa is your best go-to if you're getting into it, but the NT cutter is great. NT cutter is great, and I hate to say it because it's kind of becoming my new favorite. So, also too, let's put on our eyes so we can see the detail. All right, so now, hopefully I don't block the camera here. We're going to use the perimeter of the box here as our guide. So we're just going to go in here and just kind of rough cut the excess off of this thing. We're going to leave a little space there. Basically, we leave a little meat on the bones, right? And then we get in nice and tight, and we just basically let the blade, Tim doesn't mess with lights. Yeah, I don't mess with lights yet. You know, I like the idea of LEDs. I do. I absolutely love the idea of LEDs. It's the time sink and the routing and all of that comes with the LEDs that I don't like. There's that new fancy schmancy those wireless LEDs that have the kind of base plate and they wirelessly power the LEDs. I love that. I love that thing, right? It's stupid expensive right now. I asked Adam at USA Gundam Store about it. I was just like, you know, when we were talking about partnering up, I was just like, hey, you know, he was like, hey, man, do you want LEDs? We got these high-Q LEDs. They're really, really good. And I'm like, dude, I don't fuck with those, man. But I asked him, I said, you know, do you have those fancy schmancy wireless ones, right? And he's just like, dude, he's just like, we were approached by the company, but he said I turned them down because they're stupid expensive. So you guys, just the just the base plate alone. I'm gonna go camera one so I can reiterate and have impact. Just the base plate, no LEDs, just the frickin' base plate is like $100 some odd. Just the base plate. You get no LEDs. If you want 10 LEDs and the base plate, it's something like $210. I mean, yes, it's brand new technology. I totally get that. I appreciate that. But that's stupid expensive. Stupid expensive. I'll wait until it comes down in price. Or until another Chinese maker bootlegs the Chinese version and makes it even cheaper. Because you know it'll happen. We'll get it on Taobao. So, Flynn Berger says, "What's up, fella?" Hey there, fella. Good to see you, Flinny. Hope you're having fun with that new pup of yours. Flynn got this new puppy, you guys, and I'm gonna tell you what. That damn thing's adorable. If you guys want to see pictures of it, go hit up Flynn Berger on Instagram. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Just crazy, awesome, adorable looking little beagle kind of mutt thing. And you talk about having puppy dog eyes. This thing has got epic puppy dog eyes. My 10-year-old daughter is quite jealous. Alright, so we are basically just getting these surfaces cleaned up here. We're taking the excess off of this plastic sheet. This is very, very close. We're going to scrape this down here in a minute and get that just super, just ultra flushed with the base piece, and then it's going to be seamless at that point. So we'll do that here in a minute, but I want to get this other side trimmed here real quick first. So hopefully this is on camera. Let's get it centered. There we go, cool. And I'm turning my head like a weirdo so as I don't block with the visor like that, right? So for those of you guys watching the first time, I have a bad habit of that. These folks that have watched for a while can attest to that. And I'll still do it, but what are you gonna do? slip there. That could have been bad. Careful with your knife work, folks. That's the main thing. Because these little NT cutter blades, man, these are, right out of the gate, these are super, super sharp. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I love them so much, is because they are just really nice and sharp. But they will cut right through your flesh very, very easily. Okay. So there's a level change right between here and here, and we're basically just have to even that out, right? Okay, that's looking good. Get that corner nice and square there. Really nice. Now this is the front side edge, so this is the edge that we really need to take some time and refine. Even though you're probably not going to see up. Okay, there we go. Camera, come on. So, even though you're not going to see probably up here because of the piece that's going to go on here, like that, I mean, you're only at most going to see maybe to probably about there, right? If you really look underneath of there. So we don't have to do too much. We should, honestly, we only have to do up to this circular mold right here to really kind of to do that, right? Nick SSJ Skywalker, what kind of cutter is that? Great question. This is called, this is the NT cutter. NT cutter, this is the DS. This is a Japanese company. And again, you can get this off of Amazon. This is probably my favorite hobby knife at this point. Very inexpensive, and you can get additional blade packs for like $4 for 40 of them, like stupid cheap. And they come in two angles too. They come in this nice 45-degree angle, which I really like. That's what I'm using right here. Or they come in your traditional 30-degree. That's basically like the angle of a your traditional X-Acto blade number 11. So something like that, right? Sort of like that. So, yeah, NT cutter. Go check it out. It is good stuff, and it, like I said, made in Japan. It's quality. They've got several different handles and grips. This was the first one I saw, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't like it at first because it's very, very thin compared to the Olfa. You can see the diameters, right? So this took a lot of getting used to because I was very used to kind of the holding the Olfa hobby knife and stuff. So yeah, this little guy, it took a little bit of getting used to and slight learning curve and learning what it could do, but it's a really good hobby knife, you guys. I'm telling you. Brandon G with the, look at that, with the website hook up there on YouTube. Good stuff. Hopefully my big head's not in the way. Yep, my head's in the way. God damn it. Sorry, told you guys. So basically what I'm doing right now is I'm just scraping this edge down. Just as flat as I can get it. Yeah, that looks pretty good. What we're going to do is we're going to trim into the plastic right here just a bit to accentuate that level change. That natural level change that's molded into this particular part. We're going to accentuate that here just a little bit more. There we go. That looks pretty damn good. Now, you may be asking yourself, why are you worrying about a plastic sheet on top of a piece that most people are never going to see on your secondary mech in your presentation? That's a very good question. It's a very good question. The reason is because I would know that it's there. I know that I cut that corner. If I did it, I know I cut that corner. And that would eat me alive. That would eat me alive. Bailey, thank you. Yes, because details matter. Yeah, because details matter. That's the big thing. You know, a lot of people this past couple days have, you know, remarked about the fit and finish of the Jesta, right? And that's because, like Bailey said so eloquently, details matter. So, that's the one thing, guys. That's the one thing that will take you to the next level, is your attention to that detail. Never sacrifice that. Never sacrifice that. What's up, Shane? Mr. Daft Robo is in the house, so I gotta say what up to my boy. Him and Courtney. Is Courtney watching as well? Hello, Courtney. How are you, my dear? Courtney is an amazing scratch builder now. She just recently scratch built this amazing little bear guy flocking. I don't know what else better term it is. With this little greenhouse diorama that she completely did on her own, and she just basically built from the ground up. Amazing. So hopefully, Courtney, if you're watching, it's awesome. So there you go. Shiki, any tips on scratch building over there on Twitch? Man, that's such a large question. Yes, I do have many tips on scratch building. I don't know if we can fit them in with the time that we have left, to be honest with you. I don't know if I can fit them in on a full stream. I think the best thing, Shiki, is to maybe go back, peruse some of the past episodes of, you know, the stream and stuff like that. And just have at it, man. You know, the biggest thing is get you some plastic. Just get you some plastic. Start to draw out an idea. Yeah. Just draw out an idea. Oh, you know what? This is probably going to be your best primer here. So, go on YouTube, Shiki. Go back on YouTube and look for the very first. I want to say it was maybe the first one in February. Maybe the first one for the GBWC current series, the GBWC 2019 series. Go back and look at that. We designed this custom weapon on that stream, right? And it was a group kind of thing. And then after that, I scanned this into the computer, took it into Illustrator, refined the details and things like that. Kind of did a mock-up, kind of just a color separation thing. Evened up all the lines and all that good stuff. Got the angles perfectly. Did the math properly, right? did that, and then over the course of a stream or two, we came up with the real thing. Yeah? There you go. So it went from like this. It went from sketch, went from concept to line art to mock-up to real deal. Right? So within those few episodes, we scratch built this entire weapon. And this is going to be the new weapon for the Zaku 2, by the way. Yeah? So that will probably answer majority of your questions in terms of scratch building. And it gives you a visual primer of how to get started, you know, with conceptualization, and then it takes you up all the way to actual construction and execution. Yeah. So, hopefully that will help you. SSJ Skywalker. No, this is the Mohawk. The Mohawk, the mother of all heat hawks. Bailey coined that term. I am officially licensing that term from Bailey. Bailey, your check is in the mail, by the way. So this is the Mohawk. The blade right now comes out. I'm gonna keep that separate just to paint. And then the handle comes off here. I can paint that as well. But yeah, man, this started life as sheets of plastic and tube and little Kotobukiya parts and stuff like that. And now you get the Mohawk. So yeah, watch those episodes because that's probably about as compressed as I could possibly make a scratch building, right? Within those terms. So yeah. Anyway, check those out. Like I said, I think those were the very first episodes of the current build series, the current GBWC 2019 build series. So I think I want to say they started in early February, might have been late January. I think it was February 2nd if memory serves, but I don't know. I can't keep up. What are you gonna do? So anyway, all right. So where were we? We were working with something here. I forget. Oh, we're trimming back the plastic off of this. Now, if Dean were here, he would be quite upset with us because we don't have many parts. We haven't laid any plastic down thus far. I mean, we've done epoxy putty work. So does that count? Bailey, does that count? I don't know. Guess. I think it counts. I'm gonna say it counts. For those of you that are new, Dean is a longtime subscriber, and he essentially is our ball and chain. He keeps us honest, keeps me honest about actually working rather than getting off on tangents, which we do a lot. I can't help it, right? I like talking to everybody. But he keeps us honest and good kid. So I don't think that he's watching right now, or else he would have already chimed in about parts count. But I am getting the ruling from my two admins, Sorvon and Bailey. He said they both say it counts. Cool. All right. So now, since it was 2 halves, do I get 2? I think I get 2, right? So we'll call it 2. We'll call it 2. Oh, damn it, Bailey. He said it counts for 0.25 of a part per gram of epoxy putty used. You son of a bitch. All right, I gotcha. So, shit. That ain't good. Okay. And again, we've got a level change here, so we're just going to be trimming that back a little bit here. And just kind of defining that more. It's not scraping down as cleanly as I would have liked, but that's okay. Because this is the back side. You're not going to see a lot of this. But that's not bad, actually. That's not bad. What we'll do is we'll kind of come back in here and just kind of trim the plastic up a bit. Just to kind of take a hunk out of this thing. That will magically even that up with no worse for wear. Okay. Oh yeah. There we go. All right. So there you can see, hopefully, the stepped in angles over here, and it does, these taper down, so that actually is looking kind of right there. Now the problematic part is this middle section here. So what we're going to do is we're going to gently kind of score right in the middle here. That's basically going to give this part, it's like a relief cut basically, and that's going to relieve the stress on the plastic once we get into cutting this more, because if you don't and we start to trim on one side, that's going to try to pull the plastic over. So if we cut right here in the middle, that's going to start to release the pressure applied to the other side, right? So that's why we do it. Now, I'm going to slowly start to score. And since this is thin plastic, you can see through it a little bit to the underlying base that it's glued to. Now, we're just basically scoring this here, and that's cutting. We don't want to cut it too much into that base there. So now you can see how that just bends down like that, right? Super easy. And we've still got a little bit of meat on that underlying base piece there too. So we're going to do the same thing to this side. We're just basically making little light cuts until it scores all the way through, because if you try to cut all the way through this, even though it's thin, it's going to stress the plastic. You don't want to do that. You want to make a series of light cuts, and by the time it works its way through, it's going to cause less stress on that plastic. So see, there you go. That now is good, right? So now all we got to do is we got to go back right here a little bit above the bend, or a little bit before the bend, and just start to trim that back here with the nice light cuts that we did before. And then that will trim those flappy pieces off of there. And now we've got kind of getting closer to what our base shape should be, right? So let's trim the front parts of this down here. That looks pretty good. My head, nope, we're not on camera and my head's in the way. God damn it. Okay, we are scraping this down to make that front part nice and flush with the underlying base. That's important. That's very important, because when you go to prime and paint, you don't want some nasty looking gap that just screams lack of attention to detail. So there we go. There's our perimeter. Now we gotta still work with this inside area here, because we need to take off still a pretty good amount in this thing. So we're just gonna start to trim that back little by little. And now, since it's so close to the underlying surface, now we can just kind of start to lightly trim plastic until we can get the knife down to the underlying surface to use as a reference guide to make our final cuts on this plastic sheet here. There we go. And then once you start to trim up the underlying plastic, then that's when you know you have it super flush, and then you can stop. So I started to shave up a little bit of plastic on that side, right? This side still needs a little trimming. Okay, that's getting close now. This backside edge, that's perfectly flush. Now we just have to worry about these two inside edges, and then this thing is pretty much cut, trimmed, good to go, right? Billy says, I find that taking a break and working on something else gives you a chance to mull over ideas and come back with a fresh and executable one. I agree. I agree. Me and Bailey are like this, you guys. Word. Bailey says, I have like 10 projects going on now. Jeez. I don't know how I could even start to think about 10 projects at once, you guys. It's like superhuman. I don't know. That's crazy. Okay. Just basically lightly trimming down the side edge here of this piece. And it's looking pretty good. Yeah, we'll call that one done. And we'll pull out the super zoom here in a minute and get really zoomed in so you can kind of see the work that we put into this one little, just trimming this one little piece of plastic, right? And like Bailey said, man, it's all about the details. We're on camera, I'm in the way. Sorry about that. Okay. Whew. All right. So I think that looks pretty good. I think we're in good shape with this. Now, let's prop this piece up here so we don't have any focus issues. That's not gonna. That'll work right there. Cool. Okay. So let's get super zoomed in here, shall we? Let's see. There's our box. Boom! Super zoom. All right. So we've got this thin, ultra thin 0.3 millimeter piece of plastic on top of this thing, and this is again, this is almost basically like a macro zoom level here, you guys. So again, you can see, is it focusing? It's not. It needs to be down close to there more. Right there at that angle, you can see the differences in sheen closer to the base piece as opposed to closer to the white piece. This is a much more flat sheen. That's where we've scraped it, and then you can see the shine on the base plastic, on the normal plastic, closer to this corresponding surface, right? Half sight. Enhance. 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 God, I love that movie. Super Troopers, guys. If you've never seen Super Troopers, please go watch it. It's amazing. But again, you can see how nicely flush that piece now is. We've got to go back, and there's still a little hole there we've got to fill, and I'm gonna basically backfill that with some styrene, and then probably just fill that in with super glue at that point. Whoops. So super easy at that juncture. So super glue right in here will work wonders. We'll just sand that down. It'll be nice and flush, super crisp. Let's see. But yeah, see, there you go. See, so now you can see this different level here, and that was molded in to the plastic, to the stock piece. So I like it. We keep it, right? So, all right. So now, that's the wrong piece. Now we fit our coupler piece on, and then there we go. Now you can see kind of the effect that this has now, right? Now, since this is like a macro level zoom, you are seeing detail in here that you will never see with your naked eye. Obviously, that's my index fingernail, you know? So, and this large piece of lumber here is a bamboo skewer. So, yeah, so you will see detail in here that you will never see with your naked eye. And that just looks, if it looks good at this level of magnification, it's going to look superb when it comes to viewing it at, you know, eye level, so to speak. So, tip of the trade. Let's get out of super zoom, shall we? Boom, there we go. There we go. Turn the autofocus back on. Let's get back over here. All right, cool. So, so yeah, there is the beginning part of that. That now is starting to look really, really good. There's still a little plain down here. Maybe some panel lines or something. Maybe a decal down there. Who knows? But we still got a long way to go on this particular backpack, getting it up to snub of where we need it. And then also we've got to somehow attach it to the back of the Zaku 2, because this attached to the Gelgoog 1.0 via peg and polycap, where Zaku 2 just has a giant cubic void, right? So that's not going to work for us. That's just not going to work for us. So we've got a plug here from one of the donor kits, and that obviously fills in that void, you know, rather nicely. And we're going to need something else to fill that section here before we can get this attached. But just for mocking up purposes, that's... Come on, camera, focus. Focus. Manual focus, there we go. So that's basically what we're looking at thus far with the skirt and all that. So, yeah. I think that looks pretty good, yeah? I'm liking it. And everybody's now is quoting Super Troopers, and it looks like you guys are quoting... Are you guys quoting Royale. Oh, Pulp Fiction. Won't let me type motherfucker. Oh, Shane, man. Sorry. YouTube and its rules, right? Shame. Shame on you, Shane. Or could that be Courtney trying to type that? I don't know. Cheers to both of you. But hey, you guys, so real quick about Shane and his amazing wife, Courtney. They are basically a 2-for-1 special when it comes to viewing some really awesome live streams. He goes by obviously the Daft Robo here on YouTube, but he also goes by the same name over there on Instagram. I highly suggest you go and follow him because he makes some really cool models. He's working on what are you working on right now? Daft. What is that? Jar. Fucking, I don't know. I don't care. Whatever. He's working on this really cool high grade, and he's sending it off to some of our other good friends, James 1.0, Mr. Nozaku Boy, and stuff like that, and it's really cool. And he's also working on this awesome hobby high Zac, which is awesome because he's converting a master grade high Zac into a hobby high Zac. And if you guys are not familiar with it, what a hobby high Zac was, it is a stripped down civilianized version of the high Zac that you could buy if you were insanely rich. It made a brief appearance in Char's Counterattack, but yeah, it was pretty cool. So, but the cool part is that in addition to getting Shane on his live streams, you also get his wife Courtney on live streams, which is, like I said, an awesome 2-for-1 deal. So go follow them because they're just super cool, man. I love watching them. And I'm gonna tell you what, Shane, well, more importantly, Courtney, you need to start doing review videos. You really do. You need to start doing review videos. Snapping a, oh, he's snapping a master grade ground type now. Ooh. Look what I just happened to have. It was just sitting, literally it was sitting underneath my desk because Julius needed a piece, not from that particular kit, but from another kit that I had scrapped. So I actually pulled that out mistakenly, thinking it was from that kit, but it was not. So it just happened to be under there. Look at that. Shane says, you get my better half. Man, she's cool, man. She's awesome. She loves those Gundam Planet nippers, I'm gonna tell you that. She loves those Gundam Planet nippers. Spoiler alert, people, she doesn't. She fucking hates them. But it's so funny to hear her. It's so funny to hear her go off on those things. Oh my god. So, there we go. Alright, you guys. It's midnight here. It's late. We've reached our time limit. Self-imposed, by the way. Julius Demsky says he and his wife have a wonderful relationship and it shows on their stream. Absolutely. They feed off each other. They feed off each other in a good way. It's great. Oh, I lost the comment. It scrolled up too much. He says it's great that their love for each other extends into the hobby. I know, right? It's so cool. And they're awesome. They're awesome. Bailey says one of my first MGs ever. Dude, one of the best master grades ever. There's that little ground type, you guys. It gets you one. Even though, yes, it has its age. What year did this come out? I don't see a year. Oh, because you know why? This is the shitty Americanized version. Yeah. You guys remember this? This skill level shit? If you don't, go look up US Gundam commercial on YouTube and you'll see that that old dumb skill level shit that they tried to market here in the U.S. when they first tried to bring Gundam over here in the early 2000s, and it failed miserably because Bandai America, what it was known back then, totally shit the bed. So, yeah, what are you gonna do? Anyway, 2000, yeah, that shit was hilarious, right? Kurt Hill says, bought that kit as well after one of your Christmas recommendations on Gumba Talk. See? That's awesome, dude. That is awesome. Chris R says, I really want the Easy 8. That's a good kit, too, because it's based off of that. All the ground types, you guys, all the ground type master grades, every single one of them, amazing. Just amazing. Go get you one. Go get you one. But I think I got that at that epic Toys R Us sell-off when they had master grades for like $8. Yeah, $8. High grades for $5. Perfect grades for $20. I got, at the time, I got 2 perfect grade Wing Zeros. They were $20 a piece. I got 2 Camphors that I think were like $8-10 a piece. Yeah. I mean, they were selling them for stupid low prices, mainly because Bandai America was just basically getting shut down by Mother Bandai because they completely shit the bed back then. So for a long time, we did not have a Bandai division here in the U.S. Just not until recently, until Bandai merged with Bluefin. That is their first now foray back into the American market. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it's much better. Hopefully it's much better than it used to be back in the day. Hopefully they figured some shit out that they didn't back then. You know. Time will tell. Time will tell, everyone. Time will tell. Let's see. Superset 5, I'd like to see a Verka of the ground type. That's interesting. That's interesting. I would like to see maybe like a Master Grade Ground GM 2.0 based on the proportions of the newer high grade GM Ground, because that was awesome. That design is very close to the Studio Reckless design. That's killer. That's a killer design. For those of you kids that don't know about Studio Reckless, man, Studio Reckless is a company of legend. They have been in business for quite a number of years, and they make very high quality resin kits, very high quality 144 scale resin kits, right? And they basically do their own designs of the mechs, right? They have done pretty much every ground type. They've done the gun cannon, the Gundam. They've done the Zeta Plus, things of that nature. They only come in 144. They're amazing. Yeah. Oh, cool. Jeremy Shasan over there on Facebook, he says, brother, I forgot to tell you I got everything and thanks to the stickers. You're welcome, dude. Sorry it took so long. Like I said, I was out doing a staff meeting thing when your order came in. So, yeah, sorry about that. But hopefully you like the stickers. Cool. I'm glad you got everything. But yeah, so Studio Reckless, go look them up on Google. Google image search them. They're still around, but they make very limited supplies of their kits. They usually sell them at some, I forget what hobby show over there in Japan. It might have, I don't know if it's Shizuoka or something like that. But yeah, they're amazing kits. What is this? Anaheim Factory AF Hero on Facebook. fuckers, if you don't follow him, then you are not living life right, because AF Hero is an amazing modeler. His attention to detail is unhumanly, yeah, just insane. So he does a ton of work with Studio Reckless. I don't know if they're partnered in some way, but he works on a lot of Studio Reckless kits. So go follow him on Facebook. He's also on Instagram Limited. He does a lot more on Facebook than anything, but definitely go follow him. AF Hero, Anaheim Factory Hero, something like that. Kurt Hill knows what I'm talking about over on YouTube. He says his work is amazing. Yes, it is. It is off the hook, you guys. When I need inspiration, that's one of the guys that I look to. True story. Yeah, true story. So go check him out. And then go check out Studio Reckless, because the pictures of their kits are just super off the hook. Ruslam says he has his own website too. I think I have it bookmarked. But I mean, who goes to websites anymore, right? I mean, you guys hardly go to my website. You guys hit up social media. It's just so much easier. That's where everybody is, right? So it's websites. I don't know, unless it's a commerce site or something like that, or a high traffic site. Who knows? It's like, right? But what are you gonna do? Rusham says, I do. You're one of few, brother. You're one of few. But all right. So with that being said, you guys, it's now 10 minutes later because we got off on a tangent, like we always do. But again, hey, you guys, go get you one of these. These are up now in the store. You can get your very own 67th Tactical Mobile Suit Squadron t-shirt. It's awesome. The rooster, yeah. Also, too, prints are up there as well. So go hit that with a vengeance. Go get you some. And then while you're there, peruse the other shirts and hats and bags and other stuff, the other prints and stuff too, because I got prints of everything up there. Go get you some of those. And then also too, if you're interested in any of the tools that we used here tonight, like the NT cutter, the Tamiya quick type, I don't know, the files and stuff that we looked at earlier, all that good stuff is available on the Amazon link just below here on YouTube and Twitch, that side, if you're watching on Facebook. Already pre-sourced out for you guys. Most of that stuff I try to get for you on Amazon. There's also books, a book section on there for inspiration, and then there is also camera gear on there if you're into streaming and stuff like that. I kind of list off what I use, right? Chris R, he says, Tim, you never got back to me on the beanie. I will, because I have news about the beanie, and it's not good news either. So I'll touch base with you right after the stream, Chris. Don't worry. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, hit the Amazon link. But if you need kits or paints or decals or accessories, these guys are the place to go. USA Gundam Store, Adam and the boys down there in good old Florida. They are your source. They have the best prices pretty much anywhere that you can find in the U.S. So go and go get you some of that stuff right now. So what else? What else? What else? Oh, Gunpla Talk is this weekend, you guys. We have scheduled and locked in Gunpla Talk for this coming Saturday. All right, so make sure that you tune in on Saturday morning here in the States, right? Because we're going to have a special guest. Miss Tex Merkis is going to be our special guest on this Saturday's show. Armida is going to be on, spending some time with us, talking about her work and stuff like that. And we're going to be talking about the Gunpla Girl Gang initiative that she's got going, and her work and all that cool stuff that she's involved in. So make sure you tune in because she's going to be our special guest, and it's going to be a good time. So I think that's it, you guys. I think that's it. So if you are new and you've lasted these 2 hours, thank you and welcome to the family. come on back and see us again on Friday, because we're going to be working on this thing. Hopefully by then we'll have that epoxy putty visor dealy shaped and nice and everything like that. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. But until then, guys, man, go enjoy your Thursday or what's left of your Wednesday, and man, be safe out there. Build something cool, okay? Build something cool for me this over these next 2 days, okay? And then go follow all those cool folks that we mentioned in the stream, especially Shane and Courtney, Terry, Gundam Yatham. Go check his story out, because again, it kind of got me right here. So good. Anyway, all right, guys, I'm gonna cut it short. So until Friday, guys, I love you all. I'll see you guys later. See ya. Oh God. Oh, the mouse isn't working. Shit. Oh, there it goes. Now we can end. See you guys.